"Now, Lamson," he said, when the car had drawn away from the mid-city tumult, "give me some of the details of this case, so that I may be prepared to act when we arrive. Just when, so far as you can tell, did the murder take place?" "I can't say just when," Lamson informed him. "I was away from the house from 5 o'clock in the afternoon until late last night. It might have been done while I was away, or after I returned, because she was not discovered until early this morning. One of the maids, according to custom, went to call her in time to prepare breakfast and found her dead. I was immediately notified, and not knowing what else to do, I hurried up after you. I'll catch that murderer Sawyer, if it costs me my entire fortune," he broke off savagely. "That woman was a downright shrew, but she could cook. Lord bless you, she could cook. And now I must spend a year or two hunting another cook, and I shall probably be obliged to live on all manner of horrible dishes during my search. I know I can never find another who will be able to cook fish the way she could." He seemed saddened, almost to the point of breaking down at the last thought. "I understand, Lamson," said Quincy, after a protracted coughing fit behind his hand. "But I want to get to the facts of the case itself, the murder. How was she murdered, and do you suspect anybody? Now give me something of that sort to work on. First, what was her name? Where did she come from, and how long has she been with you?" "Her name," said Lamson in a saddened voice, apparently engendered by the thought of the fish dinners which were to be his no more, "was Mrs. Elizabeth Buck. She had been with me as a cook for about 12 years, but I have no idea where she came from originally. You see, I was obliged to hire her rather hastily at a time when I was giving a dinner, and my other cook—" "Yes, yes," Quincy hurriedly interrupted. "But had she any relatives or friends who wrote to her, or with whom she visited?" "Nobody of whom I've ever heard. In fact, from the time I first engaged her, I do not believe she has been away from my house a single day. Her sharp temper would rather preclude the possibility of her having any friends. And I doubt if there was a person in the world, outside myself, in whom she felt the slightest interest." "Now," said Quincy approvingly, "you are started right. Give me all the details you can up to the time when the body was discovered." "Well, she was a woman who, as I said, apparently had neither friends nor acquaintances. Therefore I do not think that the affair occurred because of some old grudge a previous associate may have owed her. Since I have been talking with you, a possibility, which hitherto had not occurred to me, has come into my mind. I paid her well, very well. And as I never knew of her spending much money at a time, she must have been able to lay by quite a bit in the past 12 years. Of course she may have kept her money in a savings bank, but it is equally possible that her distrustful nature led her to hide it somewhere about her house. She did not room in my house, but in a little cottage which stood on the grounds, living by herself. Now the possibility I mentioned, and which, at the time when I left, had not been investigated, is that somebody may have murdered her for money. Damn 'em! I'd have given them an equal amount gladly if they'd only let her live to cook for me. In person she was a small woman of perhaps 50, although she was so wizened and dried up by nature that she might have been either more or less. In fact, her appearance has never changed since I have known her. She was very small in stature, and although I think she would have been capable of putting up a stiff fight, she would have been no match, of course, for an ordinarily strong man. Last night the servants say she retired to her cottage at her usual time, and nothing was heard of her during the evening. Very early this morning one of the maids went to call her, and, receiving no response to her knock, pushed open the door and found